Wow. 7 years.
We made it.
I didn't think we just kept running. I think it's really what it was.
Because you started.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
because we started.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the day when he's like we chatted a lot about like that season of life was like
Rough. That was a rough season.
You know, career changes,
Yeah.
you know, just new things in life. And we're like,
Yeah.
we need to do something. And he was, I don't remember exactly where we were, you're like, do you want to go for a run? I'm like, yeah. Like, it was like kind of one of those, like, I don't know if I would like want to, but I feel like we need to. And it was a season of like, hey, let's do things we don't like to do.
That's right.
Sure.
And we knew that good things happen on the work, on the other side of the work we didn't want to do. And so we're like, well, let's get up early on a Sunday, because that's the only time we could, because we didn't want to impede on family time. 6:30 on a Sunday. It's cold, dark, rainy, and something we didn't want to do.
Right.
And that's literally, because it didn't start out as like we should start a run club. It was like we need something to kind of recalibrate our life in a trajectory we need to. And we figured, let's do the things we don't like to do.
Right. And I think showing up that first time, everything's a great idea.
Right.
But it's the consistency. Right. And so how you found that between each other with community, and then how did it grow to beyond you guys? Like what did that look like?
That's his word.
Yeah, I guess.
He's the growth guy.
We you know, we loved it. It was on the calendar every Sunday, 6:30. That was it. It was like we knew what you do consistently. The incremental gains would allow you to kind of grow in those different areas. And so it started out for us, you know, because we just needed that account. We were our accountability buddies at the time. And you know, we show up every Sunday, and then a few weeks go by and we're like, maybe some other people would like enjoy the convos, because we had such good conversations and about just life. About just life.
I think it was the first 3 or 4 years, probably the first 3 years, where it was just like word of mouth, where we were like, oh, this person should come. And then we'd like kind of just word of mouth invite people. And then like another person would invite another person. And it was like, this is cool. But then there was probably like year 4 to 5 where you were like, I think I'm going to start throwing this up on like Facebook or this group. And then you started having the business fun that you do. And then it just kind of was like, it went really crazy after that.
Well, Anthem came into the mix.
I think that was like year 2, or maybe it was even year
1 to 2.
1 to 2. And so like we knew like if we were gonna like kind of do this, like for me it was fun to like let's put a logo to it, because it's
of course.
Let's say call it a thing, and then it makes it like a little bit more enjoyable, and it just gives a little more purpose to it. And then so designer brain and community brain kick in, and it's like, well, let's make a logo. It's fun. It makes it kind of officially unofficially official.
Sure.
And then it just spun up an Instagram, really just to like kind of document the journey.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ever serious of like, we need to get more people to do this. It was just people were like, hey, I see you running every Sunday. I'm like, come on through, you know, it'll be fun.
Well, for me, it was in Puyallup in January. So it was the January after you guys formed. So it was January following the March. And I was in Puyallup at Anthem. And I saw on Brian's screen this run club thing, which I was like, I had tried different ones. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go show up. And I show up and it's you two and Dave, I think.
Yep. That sounds about right.
Like, and I remember coming in and but it was an Ant. And I'm like, okay, I'll try that. And it was you two and Dave. And I was like, hi.
They're like, what's up?
We're like, welcome.
Welcome.
It was welcoming.
Yeah.
And so I guess that is what I think was the key for me, was the community, was the consistency, and having that accountability to know they're going to show up. And so if I show up, and so that community drive, I think, is what drove us all in the beginning.
Yeah.
And just that welcoming, and we crave that.
Yeah.
And I think once it went out, you know, we hit COVID.
Right. Yeah, we kept running during COVID.
But we were connected online there for a little bit. Right. And then that's when it started going. And that's, I think, when people started to kind of stalk and pay attention and like watch us for a while and then show up.
Well, the value goes up,
right?
On the community. And I think that's part of the reason why a lot of it worked is, you know, just me again, me and him going through like what we felt like were tough circumstances in both of our lives, and we were just like, I think intuitively we can vocalize it now in hindsight, but at the time, like whenever you go through instability or chaos or like trauma or whatever, you naturally want to find stability, and you try to put stability in your life, and then you try to grow things around stability that are consistent, and then consistency led to community, and like that's how it just kept growing, and like that's what gave more purpose to living, you know?
Absolutely.
To living, you know?
Absolutely. Well, the homeostasis that we naturally find in when our world is chaos, and for me, that's what it was.
Right.
I mean, I'd be on a Tuesday and I'd be like, okay, if I can just I know that I'll find grounding.
Yeah.
I know that I'll find conversation.
Sure.
And that is what it was for me. And then just to see today and just to see the highs and lows of job changes, of life choices, of girls growing.
Yeah. She wasn't even born yet,
no,
you know?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Lindsay, she was born 5 days, I think, after the first time I met Lynn.
Yep.
And then just to inspire what I've watched in your girls, what I've watched in your daughter, you know, them showing up on bikes, little, and they have that community from this age.
Yeah.
That they don't know any different. So that's going to just spurn forth into the next generation.
Yeah. Try to set the example for them the best we can.
And it's not it's not a cognitive, I'm going to be a dad this way. It is the way that you both live your lives is exemplified in the community here today of over 100 people.
That's so crazy.
Which is just because energetically draws people.
Right.
That then they go out into their own worlds, and that's just really cool. And Anthem has been a place for us. I mean, it's how I connected. My kids were this age when Brian first started. And,
that's right. Yeah.
And then, you know, it was my son's desire to be behind the bar, and he did. And then he's actually brought people here and shown up. So it's just really cool. And that's the community. That's what makes community. So that's great. Well, great.
Yeah, and that's what helps carry the burden. I mean, we just went through the Manny thing, and like that's not easy.
No.
But like it was easy is the wrong word, but like we were able to all manage it together.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like as a group, and it gives that whole cycle of life. Like there's hardship. You go through something, whether it was like a short run, some short like thing, and then we all come back together as a community. Right. We all express everything we need to. We flush out what we need to. We release what we need to, and then we move forward in life, and it keeps going. And so like that's literally every Sunday micro.
Absolutely.
Is like the week just recapped. We're gonna start a new week. This is how we start the new week. Like we do this little ritual, and then it just keeps going. And so that's like super, super important. And I never realized how important and valuable it was. And I think everybody else did too. Once COVID kicked off, we were like, oh shoot, community is, wow, this is really important. You know? So like we value it way more now.
Absolutely. Just showing up to because I think for some of us, showing up and being during COVID, just showing up.
Yep.
Just showing up.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just there's
life here still.
Life.
Yeah.
We're not just in our spaces. So yeah. Well, that's great. Love you guys.
We love you too, and thank you for coming.
Yeah,
because this, Run Club doesn't exist without the people coming.
No,
we might have had the initial idea, but it wasn't ever a thing until people came along the journey with us.
Absolutely.
So
this is an early believer.
Yeah, very early.
Early
One of the
believer.
earliest.
Early believer.
Yeah. Girl that kept coming back.
The only girl that was in the photos for a while because it was just
I
like
have photos all the way back.
And then there's
I'll
you.
have to show you. There was like sometimes just 3 people or 5 people,
That's
and
right.
now the fact that there's 100 people showing up on it, it's just mind blowing to me.
It is.
So,
and
amazing.
Friendships that have come and gone and are worldwide now because so many. It's just so cool to see the connection. So that's awesome. So girls, you got a legacy to keep doing, right? You're gonna get up and lead Run Club.
Yep. She was up at 5:30 this morning with me. ready to go.
And she was here, not just up at 5:30.
He was helping set up and doing the thing. So
I know.
I'm very proud
These girls
of
are
you.
taking it.
That's
They're,
awesome.
they're gonna ride it.
They are. It's great.
They're the future.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.